I would like to read you something out of Micah. Micah chapter 4. The Lord is giving a promise through the prophet Micah. And he's saying that Jesus, he doesn't know his name yet, but he says that Jesus is going to come out of Bethlehem. Read chapter 4 of Micah. And you will find Jesus all through that chapter. He's saying, hold on, Israel, hold on, because out of Bethlehem, even though she's the least of the cities among all the tribes of Israel, she's the very least. But out of Bethlehem, a nondescript little dusty town, will come from the tower in Bethlehem. The tower is called Migdal Eder. I'm going to let you read it for yourself. And this tower is, well, let's start with the house in front of the tower. The house used to belong to Ruth and Boaz, which are the great-great-great-great-grandparents of Jesus. Ruth and Boaz's house became an inn on the way to Jerusalem, where people would stop and stay overnight and get something to eat. Well, when it came time for Jesus to be born, there was no room for them in the inn. And that inn is the very house that Jesus should have inherited, because he was from the line of David, the line of the good kings. But David's son Solomon, when the temple was built, he saw no need to hold on to Ruth and Boaz's house anymore, which belonged to his great-great-grandparents. So he sold it to his, I can't remember if it was armor bearer or his cup bearer, and it went out of the family and it went in toward building the temple in Jerusalem. But that very same house, and archaeologists and historians will pinpoint it for you. Joseph and Mary are coming looking for a place to stay, and they stopped at that very house. Ruth and Boaz were Jesus' great-great-great-great-grandma and grandpa, but Jesus didn't inherit that house. Instead, the innkeeper came to the door. He said, I'm sorry, there's no room for you here. No room in the inn, in the very house that Jesus should have inherited. He said, but if you go out in the back, I got a place out there for the animals, for the sheep. And you can go out there and sleep for the night. So they did. Well, that place was a watchtower, and that's also in Micah chapter 4. It's called Migdal Eder. And this watchtower that was behind the house had, in the very bottom floor of it, a birthing room. And this birthing room was for the little lambs that they wanted to keep for the sacrifices in the temple in Jerusalem, which was only 8 miles away. And they'd wrap them in swaddling clothes immediately after they were born. And keep them pure, because the lamb had to be without spot or blemish. And so this is where he told Jesus to go. Jesus' parents, where to go. And so they went into that tower, and that's where baby Jesus was born. In the very place where the lambs were being held for sacrifice. And Jesus became our lamb. And they wrapped him in the swaddling clothes and laid him in the manger. We think of it like cross arms like that made out of wood, but it was stone. I've seen pictures of the mangers back then. They were stone and they were sort of cut out like a bathtub in a way. But this kind of represented too, when he was laid in a manger, it also was the shape of many of the burial coffins that people were buried in years ago. So here's this little lamb, baby Jesus, born in the birthing room, wrapped in swaddling clothes, and laying in a manger. So far, his story is being fulfilled in him, the story of salvation. And so that's where I'm going to leave it today, right now. But oh, what a picture of Jesus. Jesus should have inherited that house. He wasn't. He was kicked out of the line of kings, which he still was physically, but now he's also the king from heaven. So, okay, I gotta quit right there. Okay, I'll be back. Bye-bye.